In a high-stakes corporate environment, stepping up to a microphone to issue a standard "I'm sorry" frequently backfires. When the pressure is on, a simple apology often sounds like an excuse, making a leader look weak and vulnerable to immediate attack. Refusing to acknowledge a misstep is equally dangerous. Completely avoiding expressions of remorse destroys a leader's credibility and signals a lack of emotional intelligence to stakeholders. This graphic illustrates how top leaders treat the language of remorse as a strategic utility rather than a reflex. It functions as a multi-purpose instrument with distinct applications for taking ownership, providing a buffer, or issuing a warning. By making a calculated linguistic shift, communicators can use the exact same concept to take absolute ownership of a mistake, deliver hard news to a department, and influence the future behavior of their team, all without absorbing unnecessary collateral damage. Treating remorse as a strategy rather than an emotional reaction allows leaders to maintain their authority. They navigate corporate crises and project control by choosing the specific phrasing that fits the moment. This timeline shows how great communicators structure their approach. They completely change their phrasing based on the tense of the event they are addressing, starting with how they handle the past. To face failure directly, combine regret with a noun or pronoun. Add deeply to signal gravity. This scales perfectly. Whether addressing a minor miscommunication, a major acquisition, or an ongoing impact, linking regret to a noun leaves zero room for excuses. This slider demonstrates how using regret as a noun also works at the macro level. Stating that you have no regrets about a tough choice projects strategic conviction, even if the actual financial outcomes were mixed. Anchoring your remorse strictly to specific nouns isolates the failure. It allows you to take absolute, undeniable accountability for a past event without compromising your overall strategic vision for the company. When the timeline shifts to the present moment, a single grammatical pivot, changing just one word, sends the conversation in an entirely different direction. On the left is the backward-looking form, regret paired with an ing verb, reflecting on a mistake you actively made. Contrast that with the present-facing form. To deliver bad news right now, shift to the infinitive regret to, separating the action from the actor. This memo shows the structure functioning as a professional buffer. Writing "the department regrets to say" acknowledges the heavy gravity of suspending regional funding while maintaining an objective distance from the decision. This shift from an ing verb to an infinitive verb allows a leader to deliver bad organizational news without becoming the emotional target of it. This formula introduces counterfactual reflection, the process of imagining alternatives to past events. Using should, have, and a past participle creates a tool for auditing complex failures to see what ought to have happened. Stating the ought to have action identifies the specific failure point. It builds a logical bridge between a past mistake and a secure process for the future. This graphic shows how leaders in advisory roles can flip that analysis to the future tense. You protect your team by projecting remorse forward, forecasting the pain before it arrives. Issuing a firm warning, telling someone you will regret it if you proceed, vividly highlights the long-term catastrophic costs of a poor decision made today. By weaponizing hypothetical future regret, a leader forces vital behavioral changes in the present. It proves their value as a strategic protector of the organization. Successfully navigating a high-stakes corporate conversation ultimately comes down to perfectly matching your strategic intent with the correct linguistic tool. This matrix summarizes the application. Owning a past failure requires a noun, while delivering difficult news uses the regret to buffer. The second half covers analysis and risk. Use should have to audit a broken process, and projected regret to warn of danger. Precise language functions as a mechanism to control events, rather than a passive way to describe them. Mastering the timeline of remorse elevates communication from a passive reaction to an active strategy, establishing a foundation of credibility through moments of vulnerability.